Jungle.
Hello there, this is Nikolai, the manga boomer.
And I am Kai, the anime zoomer. And this is our podcast, Anime Zoomer.
And manga boomer. Hello there, in today's episode 18, we will try to not get cancelled by talking about fanservice in female characters. We will talk about what is fanservice, why it has a bad rap, why it influences female characters in a bad way, and finally we will talk about female characters in general, so that we can make a tier list about female characters next episode. I think for the beginning, both of us should say their definition of fan service, and then I'm going to read out the definition from Wikipedia so that we have a common ground.
Mhm.
So, what is fan service for you? How would you define it?
For me, fan service is considered specific scenes which mm, which are targeted at mostly male audience to activate their neurons. So basically, you will see some boobs or some other things.
Yes. For me, fan service is the same. It pleases the fan, hence the two words fan service. And in the scene, moment, frame, or whatever where the fan service is happening, the stuff that pleases the fan should be the focus. For example, a panty shot or something like that.
Mm,
Or a specific camera angle where you can see something.
yes.
Now, towards the Wikipedia definition, Wikipedia offers a serious place to do your quotes. Not Fanservice, Japanese Fanservice, hoffentlich richtig hopefully rightly pronounced. The German was coming out. Or service cut, Sabisu katu. It's material in a work of fiction or in a fictional series that is intentionally added to please the audience, often sexual nature, such as nudity. The term
Mm.
originated in Japanese in the anime and manga fandom, but has been used in other languages and media. It is about servicing the fan and giving the fans exactly what they want. Fan service can also refer, in brackets, by means of text, symbol, image, and sound, to other stories that contain visual elements. I think the last part is quite interesting because they are stuff that is fan service which is not sexual. Do you have any examples?
Um, a good example of a sound fan service is when in Dandadan they chased down Turbo Granny. Oh no, they ran away from Turbo Granny, and the overture from, I don't know, a classic.
Beethoven, I think.
Yes, I think Beethoven. And it got remixed, but it was really good in this scene. It was very eye pleasing, very ear pleasing to
I
hear the song.
yes. I think in general when, for example, when the opening song is playing in shonen battle animes, like One Piece, Black Clover, just some fan service.
Yes.
Because you could always compose a better, more fitting song for this scene. But because of the opening, there's more hype. For
Mm,
example, when Luffy was punching Kaido with Red Rock for the first time. There could have been a better soundtrack, but they choose We Are. So, for the fans, for us.
mm,
I think also One Piece is another good example for visual fan service with impact frames.
definitely.
Because they basically serve no purpose, but by just looking cool and being an Easter egg.
Mm.
Do you have any other things that are not sexual related, which can consider to be fan service? I have two other
Oh,
things.
what were the other things?
References.
Oh, you
JoJo
have
reference,
the
or when
yes,
the
yes,
straw appears randomly in other series.
yes. I wanted to say JoJo references. There are a lot of JoJo references.
With
Almost,
poses, Ora Ora.
yeah. A lot of anime have a JoJo reference
Yes.
because JoJo is like a pioneer of the anime shonen genre, I think.
The manga is from the 80s, I think.
Yes. So a lot of anime consider it one of the pioneers.
Yes. If you want to talk really old school shonen, it's JoJo, Devilman, Fist of the North, and Dragon Ball. Those are the
Mm.
ancient ones. And the
Um,
last one is Nostalgia Bait. When you're, when you're getting reminded of the good old times.
do you have an example for that?
Something fell from my desk. I think when you are seeing a flashback to something that happened in the past,
Mm,
or I think, how can I say it? A remake from something. That is also nostalgia bait, basically.
yes, yes.
Remaking old games, remaking old scenes.
Mm,
I think that what we had for the types of fan service for me.
yes.
The types from fan service up beside the sexual one.
Yeah.
I think because the sexual fan service can also have some types to it, or some ways where you can see it.
Definitely, yes.
Do you have any ideas or any criteria in which you could order fan service?
Um, for example, you take Nami with her clothings, like the really short ones.
Yes.
Or you could even take an onsen scene where
This
the water hides part of the boobs, not everything, but
goddamn steam, enemy of
oh,
all men, it must
true,
perish.
true.
Joking.
I
Yes.
even saw some lights that censored something.
This is the kind of fan service which I would call the kinda, in quotation marks, unnecessary fan service. Because this fan service is just there. It can be good or bad. And it doesn't affect the plot or the character relationships.
Mm.
I think on the other side there is fan service that influences the plot, shapes the plot, or is the plot.
So basically,
In edgy or romance shows.
yes.
I think you watched a show last season which had some good examples. Especially in the first episode, there was one scene.
Um, last season,
Yes,
I don't remember what was airing last season,
it
to
has
be
something
honest.
to do with a Russian person.
Oh, oh, you mean the,
Yes, I
yeah.
mean this scene where the scene has become the plot,
Mm,
and there's basically a character interaction in this episode.
mm. So I sometimes hide her feelings in Russian, and I think a lot of people have seen it because it,
At least this clip.
yes, because you can very clearly see some very good budget in feeds. I think you meant the feed scene, right?
Yes, from episode one.
Yeah. A
I
living,
go on.
yes,
Continue.
a living fan service character we both know is. Do you know who I mean?
Depends on the series.
Fire Force.
Yes, that is my next example. Fan service that gets in the way of a plot. Because you remember the Reka scene, right? Where what was her name again? Tatsumaki
Yeah.
needs was crying for help like Nami in One Piece, and Shinra crashes down the roof like a badass.
Mm.
Really good scene, really emotional. But then
Yes.
he randomly falls off and falls on her boobs, and all atmosphere is lost.
Yes, it had some comedic aspect to it.
Yes, but the scene was ruined because of that.
Mm.
I'm one of the persons who says the fanservice in Fire Force is not bad, but in this scene, it's bad. It ruins the whole tone of the scene.
Yes.
I have one last category where I showed you a clip before the episode. Actually, good and funny fan service. Because fan service can be used for good jokes. I showed you the Excalibur scene from The Eminence in Shadow.
Yes.
It's really fan servicey, but it's really funny. And
Mm.
its parodies also the hot scene trope or scene, and it shows that also women can be horny at times and look at things.
Yes.
Plus, I like that he flexes his Excalibur like a Giga Chat. Another good example for a show with funny fan service is Grand Blue Dreaming, which I showed you as well.
Mm.
There was a lot of fan service, a lot of sexy women fan service as well, a lot of guy fan service as well into that, if you're into that, and it was really hilarious.
Yes.
So fan service is not always bad.
Mm.
Then I have a question for you.
Yes.
Where would fan service for you begin?
Oh.
Or
Ooh.
let me make the question better. Where does art style end and fan service begin?
Very tough question.
For example, would you consider the One Piece female design fan service? Or the fact that in every high school romance the girls are hella stacked and the proportions
Mm.
are questionable if you think about realism? Or is it art style?
For me, it's art style. If it's just the character, if nothing gets shown, like a bra or some titty flashes.
I think you
So
can criticize it, but for me it's art style as well.
yes.
But then you can criticize that it does not look good. For example, it may be a hot take for you, but I think the female characters in One Piece don't look that good nowadays.
Mm.
They have just an hourglass figure with big butt, a thin waist which snaps when I just touch it, and big melons. And
Yeah,
they have all the same face. It all looks the same.
true. That's true. But not every female character is built like this.
Big Mom, yes, that's the
Oh,
exception. And
Perona.
Breona's build is like this as well, the newer version.
Mm.
Brûlée is one example from Whole Cake.
Yeah,
But 90% of the females in One Piece are built like this and have the same face. I mean, do you remember the scene at Reverie when Vivi, Rebecca, and Shirahoshi were meeting? They have the
no.
exact same face, all three.
Really? I didn't notice that.
They have nearly the exact same face. I can show you a picture after the recording
Hmm.
if I find a good one.
So let's go on to the next point, which is in which genres is fanservice mostly used? Or in which genres can you see most fanservice?
Excluding ecchi, I think, obviously,
Yes. Hmm?
and H anime as well, I would say.
That's obvious. We don't talk about this.
No.
So, which genre is fanservice mostly used? I definitely know the answer for me.
Probably the romance and harem genre, followed by isekai and shonen.
Yes, that's exactly what I had in mind. In romance anime, you have a lot of fan service moments. For example, do you remember the hotel scene in Dress Up Darling?
Yes.
Of course, you remember.
I mean, you don't need to mention this. You can mention the first scene, which is, I think, more famous, where he needs to take her measurements.
I don't think that it's more famous, to be honest.
Yes, it is. Because her outfit is very famous, and it's also in the first episode.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
I would also like to add the two genres for demographic, because there are obviously certain demographics where there is more fan service.
Mm,
Do you know the demographics, or should I give you a quick rundown?
give me a quick rundown.
There's shonen, made
Mm,
for teenagers and young adults, seinen for adults, shoujo for teenage girls and young women, and josei, which is made for women. I think there should be an obvious demographic where it's the most fan service.
definitely, it's shonen, right?
Yes.
Obvious. The boys are more hornier than girls.
I mean, there's also a lot of guy fan service.
Mm,
The problem is with shoujo and josei demographic, they don't get animated.
true, true.
Because do you know a shoujo that is airing this season? I don't know on top of my head. I need to research.
Me neither.
Another thing which I want to talk about, before we go to that, I think in seinen is also quite differently, and in josei or shoujo,
Mm,
because there are a lot of scenes where the relationship is getting a lot more focused than in shonen. For example,
yeah.
when a pair gets intimate. And I would consider this to be not fan service, but an important step for their relation, for example.
Mm,
So even if you see stuff in those scenes, that's not fan service for me. Also in seinen where where shit is happening where which is non-consensual, that's also not fan service. Whoever finds that pleasing should rethink his or her life choices.
mm,
Plus, not all nudity is fan service, if it's organically in the story or not the focus. I think the Doro manga is a good example. There are a lot of boobas, a lot of big
yes.
boobas,
Mm,
but they are never the focus and never happened just before booba. It happens organically because in a rough world, in a rough battle, stuff happens. It's not like there's a random bathroom scene, for example, like in other shows.
Yes,
Plus, there's no randomly falling over panty shorts whatsoever.
Elfenlied is another good example.
I actually have not watched Elfenlied.
Um,
I know it's an old school, edgy classic.
mm,
Why do you think it would be a good example?
was, um, the main character is not human, so they don't know anything about the human anatomics.
And for
You know what I want to say?
human customs as well.
Yes, so they don't know what is special about the chest and everything.
I see.
So they walk around naked because they doesn't know that they have to hide the stuff. It's a long time ago that I watched the Elfenlied.
It's all show as well. I wanted to buy the manga, but it's out of print sadly.
Hmm.
I think I have one last point which influences if something is fan service or could be considered it. It's the
Hmm.
author of the story. Dora again, a good example because it's written by a woman.
Hmm.
So, do you think it makes a difference if a man writes a story with a lot of booba or a woman writes a story with a lot of booba?
Uh, I don't know. I wouldn't say yes
You can't
because
generalize it, but if you would take the average, then you could say yes. Because
mm,
stuff is just shown in another way because of the term gaze, how people look at it.
mm,
You have a term male or female gaze. Because if a female or woman draws something, they look at things the other way, like a man. That's, I think, quite natural. If you're
yeah,
taking an empirical big number as your sample size, that is. Obviously, individuals are individuals.
yeah, definitely.
So, I think the next part is the main part of the fan service topic.
Mm.
Why has fan service a bad reputation?
I think there are a lot of factors because if, maybe people think it's annoying. The
Fan service
s-
is just there and doesn't progress anything in the story. Be it
mm,
character progression, the story progression. It's just there most of the time and does nothing.
mm,
Just a quick satisfaction if you like it, and that's it.
true, true.
Also can ruin scenes like the Fire Force example.
Mm.
Do you have any other ideas why fan service has a better rap?
Uh, hmm. I can't think of anything right now off the bat.
Okay, then I give you a hint. It's connected with bad tropes.
Mm,
Do you know which tropes there could be, which are connected to fan service and are bad?
do you mean the Sundares?
Could take them as an example, but there are worse ones. Trope doesn't have to be character tropes. Tropes that are tropes can also be scenes that are always happening. So some shots, some scenes
Oh,
that are
you mean lolis?
Yes, for example, lolis.
Yeah, lollies a, is a factor why people hate fan service.
Yes. I mean, if you are really tenacious and are looking at the shows, at the high school romances and so on, all of the characters are not of age. But you can kinda try to ignore it, but not with lolis. There is a limit.
Mm.
Also, there is the trope of falling over, for example, in certain ways.
Ah. And
Panty
then you,
shots.
yes. And sometimes I hear that in Japan there are sea thieves who steal underwear, and some anime has this cliche too,
Yes.
and it's not good for Japanese citizens because they have a bad reputation globally because of that. Because many people think that their underwear gets stolen if they hang it out to dry.
Yes, I know what you mean. I also would throw one point into a room that shows where the plot is built around fanservice. The plot is at most of the time bad. And for those shows to be good, the plot needs to be and the fanservice needs to be so ridiculous that it's enjoyable just because of ridiculousness. Because if you're watching your typical harem, kinda edgy rom-com, if you're just looking at the plot, it's bad.
Yeah.
I think there's one show which is infamous for having bad and too long plot, which has also fan service. Do you know what show I mean?
Um,
You quite like it somehow. I sold the manga because it
you
was
mean
really
Monogatari?
no, no Monogatari.
Not Monogatari.
A romance harem show,
Romance harem.
which is
Oh,
way too long.
you mean Rent a Girlfriend?
Yes, that show is ass.
It will get better.
There's one good arc. That's it.
It will get better someday. There's hope.
No. Do you have another point why fanservice has a bad reputation?
Maybe that the anime gets taken light of because of the fan service. So other people make jokes about the anime that it's not being serious or anything.
Yes, I will connect your point with a point that I have written down. It's the community. Because
Mm.
of the community, fanservice scenes are getting really popular on social media and getting upvoted on wherever they're posted.
Mm.
For example, the Alia scene, which you talked about earlier, is I think it's the most popular scene of the show.
True,
So, and
but
yeah,
everyone,
go on. Can wait.
yes, but everyone talks only about this one specific scene, not the anime as a whole. Just this one
Specific
spe-
scene.
yes.
Mm.
So it's also bad for the studio because everyone talks only about the scene and nobody talks about the anime as a whole.
The plot, the characters.
Hmm.
The community also tries to find fences where there basically isn't. You know Frieren, right?
Yes.
I think in the whole show there's one scene which you can describe as fantasy, where there are feet. but I'm not going to talk about that scene. There's one scene where a female character named Ubel fights, or Übel is the German pronunciation of her name, where she jumps up with a spear, raises it above her head, and tries to smack her enemy from above. But there's one frame where you can see her armpit. This frame was really popular on the internet when the scene was airing. Why, guys? Why does it have to be this way? It is a wholesome good fantasy show. Why do you have to drag it down into the mud?
Oh, it's a green-haired girl.
Yes.
I have seen her on social media.
Yes.
Bruh, the first picture that comes up is the fucking armpit scene.
Yes.
What the hell, bro?
It's a frame from a battle scene. Come on. Why?
Why is it a thumbnail for YouTube video? The hell?
Yes. I think it was a thumbnail for Crunchyroll clip as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Dude, degenerates at work, though.
Yes. So because of stuff like that, we're in a normal, good, wholesome fantasy show. A good message, a good plot, good characters. People are just seeing that.
Yep.
Nice. Um, I have one last trope which I want to
I
discuss.
I have yes, I have another trope.
Okay, then let's
I don't know
go.
if you have it too.
Then state yours, and I'm going to state mine.
The BrotherCon or SCON type.
Ah, yes.
Hmm.
There's also a funny thing. I think I mentioned it to you about the studio who did Ayla hides everything in Russians. They've
Hmm.
done Oshinoko.
Hmm.
They've done Ayla hides everything in Russians.
Hmm.
And they are doing the next series from a rental girlfriend author, which is about a guy living with his sisters, and it's a rom-com, so you know where this is going.
Oh yeah.
So
Hmm.
you can you see connection between those three shows?
Hmm.
Maybe there is one.
But what I'm talking about is those girls who cling to the brother. They wake,
Oni-chan.
yes, they wake him up every morning. I'm talking about Kotori from Data Life
Yes.
or other specific characters that are like this.
Yes, yes. Those are also often connected with the lolly trope because
Hmm.
they are the younger sisters.
Hmm. But one good sister is I don't know her name, the sister of Shirogane from Kaguya-sama.
Okay.
Yeah, Kei. She doesn't care about her brother.
Yes, but
And
there also can be some scenes where you could argue that it's fan services her as well. The scenes where she kicks her brother,
mm, yeah.
you could argue as well that those are fan service, but you can at least see in those scenes the bond between them, so
Mm,
not the worst.
true.
My last trope connected with fan service is about male characters. Is it's the perverts and the gropers.
Oh, you mean
I,
the
I,
grandpas?
yes, for example, I don't like perverts or groping characters.
Mm,
Those are, yes, they were
the guy
funny
from Dragon
when
Ball.
Muten Roshi is. They were funny 30 years ago, other times.
Mm,
Sanji from One Piece as well. Meliodas from Devon Deadly Sins, who randomly gropes the main female character.
with her clones, with his clones, right?
Yes, und without the clothes. Or From a shonen called Undead Unluck, there's also a lot of groping, which is
Yeah.
this show is so whack.
Yeah, Undead Unluck is really rare.
But there also can be good pervy characters. I think there's one shining example for a good pervy character. You know him very well.
A good pervy character.
You read before the recording a chapter where he was in.
You mean not marriage toxin, Chainsaw Man.
Yes, Dennis the Goat. He's a good example for a pervy character.
Hmm.
So you can use those tropes, but you have to write it well.
Cool. Hmm.
So my last point why fanservice has a bit rap, and to transition to our next point is fanservice can ruin female characters
Hmm.
because it puts them in a bad light. The female character is just a token for fanservice. Just, let me say it bluntly, walking boobs.
Hmm.
They are just objectified that they don't have any purpose to just be sexy. I think that's why fanservice also has a bad reputation.
True.
I think there's examples in every shonen. So
Yeah. Fairy Tail.
One Piece, Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer doesn't have fan service, or at least not much.
There's a big booba bitch girl.
Yes, but she's not just for boobas.
Her design tells otherwise. Nezuko, in her true form, that's unnecessary fan service.
That's true, yes, but it's only one scene. So I would say the one from Fairy Tail. Jenny is her name, right? From the guild, which
Do you mean Mira Jane, the receptionist?
no, Jenny, the one from the clan who Leon is from.
Ah, white haired girl, yes.
Not
Oh,
right haired.
oh no, yes, I know who you mean now. Sorry. I, I mistook Leon for someone else.
She was fighting against Mila Jane.
Ah, this scene, yes. Where they were
Mm,
doing their underwear photo shoot.
mm-hmm.
Yes, good plot in this episode. Good plot.
True.
So oftentimes, anime women just get reduced to their fan service. Harem shows is another good example. They get one trait, good hot character design, that's it. We have a character. Now make 5 of them who have a crush on them. See. But
Mm.
I would say that female characters have, in general, not bad reputation, but good female characters are underused, I would say, in shonen or shows that we like, in the genres that we like. Would you agree, or?
Definitely, there are only a few who are really good,
Hmm. I mean, you
and
should consider that anime, that's the point I want to make in the demographic section. I need to make it now because I forget it. Most anime watchers, I would say, are male people. Can see this by in the fact that so many shonens are produced and not josei or shoujos. So the most of the anime characters are written for a male audience.
Hmm.
Now you can continue with your point.
I completely forgot what I wanted to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then let's go on with the demographic. I think in shonen there is one archetype which also can be considered with or mixed with fan service. I've made a list about this archetype and the following aspects that this character has. The women in shonen.
Mm,
Useless in combat, mostly. Damsel in distress that needs to be saved. Often a healer. Has a crush on the MC. Follows the
mm,
MC around loyally like a dog. Is nice and
mm,
friendly. Hot, if at least not hot. Stacked. So there's the goal that this person can be shipped with a MC and has no character, personality, or purpose besides that.
You mean the girl from Darling in the Franxx
Darling
who
in the
got rejected?
Franxx, My Hero Academia, Black Clover, not nur 11, aber Mimosa was her name.
Mimosa, yeah, yeah.
Sakura and Sasuke, Orihime from Bleach, One Piece female characters like Rebecca, Hiyori from Wano.
Mm,
I think in most shown you can find a character who fits this bill.
yes.
And those are the most popular shows with shonen, so that's the woman representation of popular shows.
Mm,
Sadly.
true. But
But
there are also a lot of good female characters.
yes, that's the transition that we need to make. What
Yes.
makes a good female character for you?
Um, I'm not going to say what makes her good. I'm going to throw in an example. An example for me is Mikasa from Attack on Titan.
Yes, you should describe the example for the listeners.
I was expecting an answer from you. um,
I don't know her
she's
whole story, so I can't comment.
she's a really strong character. She loves Eren, but later on in the story, she she doesn't feel the love that much anymore. She fell out of the love. She realized that what was Eren doing was bad, and she didn't support him anymore. She was against it, so she went up against him. That's she is really strong, so she fought him head on. She's a well written character.
I
But
think
she always kept her scarf that he gifted her.
yes, I know that from the last panel from Attack on Titan with Scarf.
Hmm. She's still loyal to him after what he's done.
For me, the answer is quite simple. Write a good, well-written character with a good personality where the gender does not play a role. Like every character, a character should not be a stereotype. Write them with a good arc, good character, good progress. Like you said in Mikasa, where she was loyal, but she had a kind of change of character. She was progressing in the story, changing her characters, her morals, her ideals.
Hmm.
But
Well, that
female characters have one problem, because I would argue that there are more female character stereotypes than male character stereotypes. So, because of that, the amount of actually good written characters who fit my description are rarer than the male parts. Would you agree or
Yes,
disagree?
I definitely agree with that. I mean,
Uh,
you have the data types,
yes.
you have lolis.
Little sisters we talked about.
Hmm.
The older Onesans, Ara waifus, the mommies, all kind of the same.
The big boobas.
Yes. The childhood friend,
Yes.
tomboys. Tomboys are nice.
Ah,
I also would argue that most of the main characters are male
hmm.
in anime because anime are produced for mostly male audience. It makes
Yes.
sense, but because of that, there are more male characters that have agency compared to female characters. But I think we are on a good way, and those times are changing. Do you know any shows from the last years which with good female leads and where female characters had a lot of agency or power in the story?
Apothecary.
Yes,
Other
Frieren,
than that,
Frieren
it's
as well.
yeah, Frieren. Um,
Delicious in Dungeon has Makiel.
Dungeon Meshi, didn't watch it.
Makiel, goated character. S tier female character. Yakuza Fiance currently airing has a female lead. I mean, you can argue in Dore Doro that Nikaido is the main character because she has more
Yes,
screen time than Kaiban for
and
reasons.
in that end, you can argue that Momo and Okarun are both the main character.
They have at least kind of the same screen time and the
Mm,
same impact on the plot. I also think that newer battle shonen have done this better. I think, for example, in Kaijo, Shinomiya is a good written female character.
yes.
And there's one elephant in the room, which you can say it's also kind of a hot take, but Chainsaw Man has the best written female cast by miles, by leaps and bounds. Think
So,
about all the arcs and tell me one arc which is not influenced by a female character. I wait.
hmm, hmm,
And in which other shonen you can make the same statement?
yeah.
Besides Claymore, Claymore doesn't count. There are just freedmen in this show because Claymore is an all-female cast.
Hmm,
Because you have power in the Bad Devil arc with her little conspiracy. You have Himeno in the Eternity Devil and Katana Man arc, who plays a huge role and is a big influence on
hmm,
the story. Your favorite, the Bomb Devil arc,
hmm,
and then Quan Chi in the Assassination Devil arc, and the Doll Devil is Santa Claus, also female,
hmm,
and Makima, and then Asa, who is basically a
yes.
new MC who is also female in Euro.
Hmm,
So every arc is influenced by females in Chainsaw Man.
yes.
Do you want to know the reason, or kind of a reason, why Fujimoto writes leading female characters
Mm, I feared the story.
with his awakening and the bike which was kicked down?
Hmm,
Whereas the woman kicked his bike to the ground and he had kind of an awakening.
yes.
It was a funny story.
Gokuraku guy also has a good female character.
Yes. It could be two as well because what's her name? Nell. She's getting are currently in the newest chapter.
Yes, but she's not. She's not the support character.
Not the main character, you mean?
The girl who's the senpai of
That's Miss Tao.
yes, she's not the main character.
Miss Tao is kind of a main character.
Mm, I don't think so.
She's at least a Deuteragonist.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yes. I also think you read another example where there are some good written female characters today, which is Marriage Toxin.
Yes,
I think the female characters they are written really competently because they have a bit more personality than your usual average female characters. They interact more with the guy, they're independent. For example, in the current arc, the one beast wife with her little pets, I don't know what. Are they called hamsters in English?
what?
How is hamster called in English? Is it hamster?
Nein.
What is it?
It's mm,
Let's ask Dr. Google.
yes. Oh, it's hamster, lol. I thought something else. Hamster.
Yes. Hm. Well, this person. I think she kind of started because she has a flashback connection to Gero, like your normal dependent childhood friend from the MC. But she made a big step towards independence and wants to become a kind of woman worthy for Gero and does her own thing, build her own business. I think that's a really new topic which is really important for our times because a lot of women are going for a career and not getting married earlier, like in the old days.
Yes.
Do you have any other example for good written female characters?
Violet from Violet Evergarden.
Yes. I heard that's a good one. I have not watched it. I heard the
Mm.
animation should be insane.
Also, Emma from The Promised Neverland is a good female character.
Also haven't watched.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yes, right. I don't want
Or
to.
your Forger is also a good female character.
Yes. Yours, nice. Have I anything else on my list? Do you have anything else to add to what makes a good female character? Or should I say
No,
my conclusion? Then
we can make the conclusion.
yes. So a good female character should have agency, an important role to play in her story arc, have a character with personality and not just one trope, and also should or could have character changes if necessary for a story, obviously. The character should just be well written. Gender does not matter at this point.
Yes.
Anything to add?
Nope, you said everything.
Then onto our progress, recommendations, hot take, and our news segment. Either or
Mm.
questions. So, we are now having a news segment besides hot takes. We're having now one hot take per episode and one either or question. My first either or question for you is if you could only choose either pre time skip One Piece or post time skip One Piece, what would it be?
Wow, very hard question. Mm, post time skip, to be honest.
Really?
Yes. It got so bad after time skip.
I hardly disagree. I think most post time skips are mid.
Mm, I don't think so.
Fishman Island has a cool message, but the writing, the villains, the fighting is not good.
I
Punk,
don't
has,
think so.
Punk Hazard is only good because of the smile callback in Wano. Dressrosa is too long and not that great. Whole Cake is my favorite after the post time skip. Sunisha's alright. Wano is not good and makes every arc after the time skip not good. It makes it retroactively bad. Egghead is really good. So I would definitely choose pre-time skip. We have Marineford, Ennis Lobby, Water 7, Skypiea. I'm even one of the 3 persons who like Thriller Bark, so
Nah,
Barati, Along Park also great arcs.
yes, but for me the new animations are definitely better.
Yes, but the new manga art from Oda looks like ass. Pre-time
Yes,
skip
but
looks
I'm
really
talking
good.
about the anime, not the.
Yes, but the pacing is unwatchable. Still. But you're definitely right. After in Wano, the animations got really good.
Mm,
You can't deny that. Do you have anything else to add to my question, or do you want to start with your question?
I'm going to ask you my question. Would you rather watch Bleach plus filler or Naruto plus filler?
The answer is really obvious. It's Bleach. I have watched Naruto complete. I've also watched a lot of the fillers because I watched it on TV in
Mm,
my childhood. Bleach was the one from Big Three which was not airing in RTLs, why we had called it in Germany, a TV program where the anime
mm,
were. So I actually don't know a lot of the Bleach fillers. Plus, I only watched half of Bleach in the anime, and I've only have read half of Bleach in the anime where I'm currently at. So I actually don't know the second half of Bleach. I only know 50%.
mm,
So, what's for the person who asked the question who has not watched either of those shows?
mm.
What's your answer?
I think I will rather watch Bleach too.
Really?
Yes, I don't know. I'm not a Naruto fan. I think Naruto is annoying like Asta sometimes with his shouting and his
True.
Tatebayo,
In
Tatebayo.
in classic Naruto, he's kinda annoying.
Mm, I also don't like this whole ninja premise.
The ninja premise is really cool, but it gets abandoned really quickly for explosions and stuff.
Yes, they can turn abilities out of their fucking eyes, which is completely weird for me.
Naruto had such a cool setup in the beginning, but then it was getting too much action, too much big grand action, which definitely hurt the series in the end. Because how would you describe a ninja?
Stealthy, stealthy person who dresses
Yes, who does
in.
ambushes, not
Yes,
someone who can drop meteorites from the sky.
yes.
I think that's it for this question.
Mm.
Pause.
So for my hot take, which I have, is someone from uh is a review from Dandadan, which I take as a hot take because it's a really hot take. Because a lot of people wouldn't think like this person. So social media wouldn't stop raving about the show. So I thought I'd watch it, and so far it has worse animation than Blue Lock Season 2, annoying male MC with hyper annoying voice acting. The characters are one-dimensional all round, and the plot is nonsensical. It doesn't even pass the average meter so far. It's just overhyped for no reason. What does TLDR mean?
In summary, basically. When you are
The
summarizing
story.
something, you are saying in TLDR.
Okay. The story is nonsensical and non-existent. Things just happen. Art style is super low effort. The characters are not unique and pretty boring overall. And the response to the situations is just unbelievable. I wouldn't waste my time with this one.
I can
Oh
understand
boy.
the part about the story.
The story is weird, yes, it is, but it follows a specific pattern or a path, which,
But it's
which,
nonsensical. In that point, the guy is right, and everything else not.
yes. Hmm, let's start with the first one thing. Um, the art style is definitely not low. I don't know what this guy was on when he watched the episodes,
You can say that it's too unique and that it's not your taste.
but
It's
it's definitely very well made.
yes.
It was very well done.
They even use CGI good because they are hiding it good, because of
Mm,
their color grading.
yes, every enemy has a unique color pattern. For
Yes.
example, Turbo Granny has a red pattern.
The
The
sumo alien was
Sumo,
black, right?
mm, so this definitely not true. The characters are not unique and pretty boring, which I don't really understand how he got to that point.
I think which
Cause,
makes the characters unique is Dana has one of the best shonen romance plots.
mm,
They have just a great character dynamic. Momo and
definitely.
Okarun. I think if you search shonen, those two are the best in the romance constellation.
Mm,
So that's unique
yeah.
for me.
You have Okarun, the nerdy guy
The glasses
who
Kurun.
mm, who
I
gets
mean,
bullied.
on paper, their characters, yes, they are not that innovative, but I think together, because of their chemistry,
They have
that's the
such a pretty
uniqueness.
good dynamic together.
You can see it in episode 2 instantly. It's so hilarious and
Mm.
funny.
So you have Okarun, the nerdy guy who gets bullied and it ignores it. But then he finds this girl, Momo, who likes to talk to him. And on the other side, you have Momo, the loud,
Kinda Gyro.
yes, girl who, who is very famous in class.
Mm.
But together they have a pretty good dynamic.
I mean, they are still better than the Demon Slayer main characters. So, the bar is not that low.
And also Mama, Bachan Seiko, holy.
Do you know why
She's,
Seiko looks that young?
no,
Because of that she can better connect with her grandchild. She has done that with magic.
when did this got explained?
I heard about it, friends. I heard it as a fun fact on the internet, so I hope
I
that's
haven't
true.
read it. I haven't read it in the manga.
Maybe it's in some question on site or after a chapter.
Yeah, okay, then maybe. Um, but you can clearly see that she really cares about her grandchild and
Yes.
she tries to help her, but she doesn't try to help her with doing everything alone for her. He makes her do the stuff and just gives her advice. Do you know what I mean, Nikolai?
She's a good mentor.
Mm. And then Turbo Granny was just Turbo Granny.
It's fun.
She's deeper than you think.
I think
She,
in the end where she gets defeated, where she was trying to care about the spirits of the young girls.
mm, that's what I meant.
That was a
mean.
nice touch. It was in episode 4, I think, in the end.
And their response to the situations is just unbelievable. Like, bro, they ran away from a giant crab. Like, what the fuck would you do? Would you just stay there and watch the crab destroy you or what? Bro, what the fuck? That's just normal reaction that you ran away from something that you can't comprehend. Like, what would you do if a sumo alien chased after you?
I think
You
the
would,
wording is just weird because you don't know what the guy is trying to say because there is no alternative. That's what you are trying to say other than
yes.
those reactions.
Hmm. I don't know.
Anything else in the
Yes,
hot take or is it done?
it's uh doesn't even.
I mean,
Uh,
there was the voice acting stuff, but how you find a voice actor is always personal preference.
yes, I think they do their job really good. I like
So,
Okarun's voice and Bomo's voice.
besides the plot thing where I kinda can agree or see the standpoint from the guy, I think the other stuff that he talked about is incorrect.
Hmm. The plot is connected somehow. It follows a red string somehow.
I would disagree. It's a very
I mean,
weak red
I mean,
string and not that good.
the plots are coming out of nowhere. That's true, but they are somehow connected. I, I think you will get it later on in the manga.
Yes, but it doesn't make the other things better. If you're just red herring something later, you could have written it better earlier.
I mean, the up to now everything is connected.
Yes, but it's about the nonsensical connection. That's the point. The connections
I
are
don't.
just dumb,
I
which
don't
is
think so.
why we like the show.
I don't think so that it's nonsensical.
So a guy who lost his wiener and his balls is nonsensical, and that drives the plot.
Yes.
I see. You should be an author then.
Yes. Okay. That's done with mine.
Okay, then pause. So my hot take is a quite fitting one for this episode. Far too many anime go for the quickest and easiest option off to the coast of being very generic and tropey, where pretty much everything is predictable. There's not enough thinking outside the square. I think there should be box staying, but let's go onward. Even with the smallest things like changing up character archetypes, cliched lines, cliched camera angles, overused pacing, and plot structures. What keeps me watching are those that defy this, that are the gems in the rough. I think this hot take is very true because when we are looking at all the fan service shows, the high school romances, the edgiest shows that we talked about it, you can see a lot of things that are true in this hot take.
Mm-hmm.
Because your typical high school romance show with fan service has the same camera angles, cliched lines, the tropes, the stereotypes, for example, the same character archetypes which we have talked about, why those female character archetypes are bad. The plot is predictable because it's a romance. In the end, the two main characters are coming together. Who would have
Mm-hmm.
thought about that possibility? Oh my god. So, do you agree or do you disagree?
I agree, but I do sometimes watch trashy anime
Yes,
because it's like watching trashy TV.
yes,
Sometimes you can enjoy it.
it's entertains your ape brain.
Yes.
Plus, I like the statement in the end because I think you heard that also as well. When you're watching a totally underground show and you find, it's a gem, it's my show, nobody's watching it.
Mm,
It's a really nice feeling.
yes,
We should also make an episode about underrated gems someday. Could be a good one
definitely.
as well. Plus, I think fanservice is also the easiest option to bring people towards the show. That's why I choose this hot take for this episode.
Mm,
Like we've seen with the Alia scene, which you described.
yes.
Then I think that's it for this hot take. If you don't have anything else,
Nope.
hot take true.
Yes.
So, onto my progress. I didn't make that much progress. I read the last volume of Traditions and Dungeon Meshi. I liked the ending. It was a solid, good ending, but nothing more. So that's it. But I think
Okay.
Dungeon Meshi is a good fantasy series. Like an 8 out of 10, especially when you're a D&D player. Then you will enjoy the series. Did you make any progress?
Nope. Not at
Happens.
all. Not at all.
You don't always have to make progress.
Yes.
Then on to the last segment of this episode. We need to give ourselves recommendations. What would you recommend me and why?
So my recommendation for you is Buddy Daddies. Um, a good comedy show about two guys who adopt a small little girl. Um, but there's something special about those two guys. They are assassins. They kill for money, and they don't have any experience with handling a child. So yeah, it's a really funny show where they learn to how to be a dad and so on. Really nice.
I recommend you a manga to read. It's available on Manga Plus, so should be no problem for you. It's
Mm.
called Wild Strawberry. It's an action shonen.
Wild Strawberry.
Yes. It's
Okay.
kinda like Chainsaw Man or Kaiju number 8. I think you like those too.
Mm.
It's our world is in a kind of post-apocalyptic state because of a virus where the plants became like plant monsters and destroyed humanity nearly. Those plants are called Jinka. They are like kaijus, devil and chainsaw man, curses, and what's not. The series has a really good art style, and I like the fact that the plants are such monsters because normally you would think, plants are beautiful and harmless and nice to look at. But here they are horrific monsters. And there are people who need to exterminate the plants. But not for our MC and his sister. His sister is kinda special. I'm going to talk about more. I think if you like Chainsaw Man, you're going to like this show. It
Okay.
has really good art, really good action. Plus, I like it's kind of also as grim as Chainsaw Man. Plus, they're only like 30 some kind chapters, so it's not that big of a task.
I see. I see. I think that's it for this episode, right?
Yes.
Okay, then thank you for listening today.
Yes. I hope we were not being too misogynistic. I think we did a good job. Hopefully.
Yes, hopefully.
So then have a nice whatever time of your day it is for you. And
And
the next episode is, like I said at the beginning, a tier list of female characters.
mhm,
So stay tuned for that. Tier lists are
yes,
always fun.
see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.